Hello everyone, it is Leon here, and I am with
Dave,
who has been playing Injustice Gods Among Us. What have you given it?
I've given it 7 out of 10.
Okay, so what are its strengths? Should we start a game and
Yes.
see it in action?
Let's start a game. So, essentially, Injustice Gods Among Us is kind of like a follow-up, I suppose, to Mortal Kombat versus DC Universe. It's essentially the same engine, much of the same kind of general feel. It's certainly not what I'd describe as a hardcore beat-em-up, so if you're obsessed with Street Fighter 4 and like learning 30 hit combos and poring over animation frames, it might not be for you. But if you're just looking for a bit more of a casual experience that kind of tells a really silly yarn within the DC universe, it's all about alternate realities and parallel dimensions.
So it's a party beat-em-up.
Yeah, essentially. Yeah. If you just want to beat up Superman with Batman, and let's be honest, who doesn't?
Who doesn't?
Because a Man of Steel sucks.
But that feels like there's a whole lifetime of arguments waiting to be settled here.
If you just want to see some cool stuff, cool moves from like DC characters such as the Flash, Green Arrow, Bane, whoever you want to name, Catwoman, Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's it's not exactly taxing. It doesn't look particularly good, but you know, I had a lot of fun in the story mode. Story mode's totally silly.
So what is the story mode? You mentioned alternate universes. You were talking about an evil Superman the other day. Is that Bizarro?
Like
Bizarro, is it?
Well, the game starts with like the Joker having brainwashed Superman, and in his brainwashed state, Superman ends up killing his family and going mad, and then it starts like there's dimensional tears, and like you get some realities where Superman's evil and like controlling the entire universe, and other universes where the Joker is like some sort of anti-hero. So you get an infinite number of realities.
Yeah.
But it essentially boils down to good DC folk fighting their doppelganger bad DC folk. So it's quite simple. I mean, it's fun, you know. The cutscenes are pretty good. The dialogue's preposterous, but preposterous in the sort of way you'd want it from a comic book game. So
yeah.
It's just campy fun, essentially. So that is one of the environmental moves where at certain points in the environment, if you tap R1, this sort of stuff will happen. So it's really theatrical.
So it moves around as well. I mean, like, so the special moves will access new areas.
Yeah, well, at certain points in the environment. So if you get them to the edge of the environment, and usually it's kind of left, right, X, you'll maybe kick them through a truck that'll then kind of chain them up the side of a building and things like that. So, and everyone's got super moves which kind of work, guess, like Mortal Kombat fatalities, except they're nowhere near as gory. So this is Batman's.
Yeah.
For the Batmobile, boosh. So all the environments are nicely interactive, and there are a lot of good variety stages. I think this is the Hall of Justice, and there's Arkham Asylum in there, there's Wayne Manor, Metropolis.
I can see Superman getting damaged here. Do they all sort of take on damage? And
they've all got. I mean, it's the usual rubbish reason why Superman's not invisible. Now this is interesting. This one's a wager system, so when your health gets to like the second bar, because it's a 2-bar health tier system. Yeah. As soon as you're down a certain level, you can essentially gamble what power you've got left. See the little power icon at the bottom of the screen? Yeah. There's 3 tiers of that. You can gamble what you have left, and if you win the gamble and gamble more of your remaining power than the other character, you'll get like a big chunk of health back. So should we look at some?
Let's just get another fighter up. Are they all DC characters? Because I saw a couple of characters flying around the other day, and I didn't recognise who they were.
Yeah, they all. I'm not like an encyclopedia DC knowledge, but to me they all look like DC characters.
Is that Croc over there?
It's not actually. It is
Doomsday.
Doomsday. Right. Solomon Grundy's in there, who you might have seen in the Arkham City. They aren't all vintage.
Let's have like Wonder Woman versus Harley Quinn. Yeah.
Hot curling like Killer Frost and a guy called Black Adam. So they're not all on the Superman Batman level, but it's a pretty good spread. You know?
So you play as well. It's not like a normal beat 'em up where you pick one character and you take that story all the way through. So
story mode is broken into chapters, so you essentially get to control all of them. It's a little bit disorienting because you're always having to learn new combos every 10 minutes. Yeah. But saying that, you know, the combat's not particularly in depth. Each character might have 10 combos and about 6 special moves, and all the combos are basically your 3 or 4 button jobs.
So I mean, so does it work? I mean, is there enough if you're swapping between characters all the time, is there enough? Is it accessible enough that you can pick it up as you play through the story mode?
Absolutely,
but still deep enough that there's fun to be had.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the way I was playing was essentially playing a character, learning like 4 or 5, 6 combos, and then just moving on. Like most of the combos are executed in a similar sort of fashion. They're certainly not identical, but
what is the style? Is it like say Street Fighter where it's button patterns, or is it like Soul Calibur where it's up and down, left and right?
It's a kind of mix of both actually. I kind of describe it next to Tekken in a way. So square handles like medium attacks, triangles like heavy attacks, and so on. But yeah, to do like the special moves, you do have to do like variations on the D-pad or the analog stick. So a Wonder Woman, for instance, might be like a big battering ram attack would be left, right, X, or something along those lines.
There's a consistency, so it's not like a completely new moveset every time.
There is a fairly linear logic running through each character's moveset. So let's see Wonder Woman's special move where she gets some Amazonians. And
fantastic.
And you get like throws on L1, which are this. You're no warrior. But I think comic book fans will certainly. There's a lot of nice cameos and incidental details in the background. Like so in Arkham Asylum, you see Dr. Hugo Strange in the background.
Yeah.
And things like that. So
it's interesting that it's sort of free from any kind of specific narrative. It's just like its own story. So who are you actually? So the story you mentioned dimensional tears. We're moving through into different alternate universes. Why?
It's basically a one magic giant MacGuffin where I think Lex Luger and because all these superheroes combining all of them together. I think Lex Luger's found Lex Luthor, I should say, is fine. I'm comparing them to the rest. Lex Luthor has essentially managed to find a way to rip holes in reality. So
it's kind of like Bioshock the beat 'em up.
That's one way to describe it. Essentially, the main crux of the story involves going after an evil Superman. So
is Aquaman in there?
Aquaman is in there, and that's a good point.
Because he's become the butt of all kind of superhero jokes, isn't he? Unless there's fish or glass of water anywhere, he can't do much.
Aquaman actually has a really good finisher. He's got one of the best super moves in the game. So
are there any sort of obviously overpowered games? Because obviously some of the fun is going to be from friends playing each other. Is there one character everyone's going to play as him?
It feels fairly balanced, but I'd say certainly Batman and Superman seem to have the best combos. Not necessarily the easiest ones to pull off, but they seem to have slightly more powerful moves, or moves that cover more of the environment. So it's easier to chain things together.
That's interesting. That's a very Arkham Asylum version of Bane.
Yeah. Well, that's an interesting point because it's actually it does share quite a few threads with Arkham games. So Kevin Conroy's back voicing Batman.
Well, yeah, he is Batman.
The voice actress for Selina Kyle in the Arkham games, she's reprising her role, as is Harley Quinn. The only one who's not is Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, Mark Hamill. Well, he's sort of said after about 3 or 4 sort of false alarms, he's finally said he's not doing the Joker anymore, isn't he?
Let's see. Let's do the special. I'll just do something with fish tank first.
Nice.
Don't block this. Do not block it. Oh, I've missed it. Well, essentially he conjures a massive tsunami with all the creatures of the sea, and eventually a big great white shark comes along and nibbles on your phone. It's a shame we don't get to see it.
I sort of wish he'd was throwing kind of starfish shuriken. That would be great.
Actually, I'll let Ben beat me up for a bit, so I might get my power back to do the special move again. So as your damage goes down, your little power bar will...
Right, so you've got to take damage to...
It's a combination of doing your signature moves and taking damage as well. So So it keeps it a little bit more even, so even the fighters getting pummel's got a chance. Come on. Right, this time. He's dodged again. Damn you, Bane! And he's beaten me. No, he's not. I've got no power wager, so he's gonna
win. So how does the wager work again? So who has the most power wins? Or?
Well, not necessarily. So it's whoever's willing to gamble more of the power they have left. So say square is the most power, triangle is the next most, and then X is the least. So you can press square to gamble the maximum, they could press triangle to gamble the medium.
I see.
So if you gamble more than them,
gotcha,
you might win. But there is a randomised element to it. It just gives you more chance to win rather than being definitive. So
okay, so so there's a single player mode. Let's do another fight then when we're talking. So the single player mode. Are there any other kind of modes apart from just like 2-on-2?
So we'll just go through them quickly in the single player menu. There's obviously the story mode.
Yeah.
Battles.
How long is the story? Do you know, like roughly?
Well, I played it for about 6 or 7 hours, and it seemed to be near the end. So I'd say roughly it's probably around 8 hours absolute maximum if you're watching with the cutscenes.
Yeah.
There's about 2 hours of cutscenes in there, so there's quite a lot of story.
So the story, there is a lot of substance to the story. It's not you said it's sort of a quite wacky story, but there's actually there's like cutscenes.
Yeah, there are actually like 4 or 5 minute quite in-depth cutscenes.
Okay.
So battles are you essentially just fighting endless foes until you fall.
Yep.
Star Labs, we might just do one of them quickly. They're essentially missions. So you just have to meet certain parameters during a fight. So
is this a bit like kind of Mortal Kombat's kind of training tower? You know,
yeah, kind of, yeah. So there's like a few dozen of these.
Yeah, so it'd be like finish only use air combos.
Like you might be losing like X amount of health every few seconds, or you might have to use specific moves or save a civilian or something like that. So here's Superman.
Is this evil?
And this is another point. There are actually quite a few QTEs in the story mode as well.
So you just so this is a lot like Mortal Kombat sort of mission towers, isn't it? Where they just give you a lot of simple little challenges, almost like mini games, basically.
Yeah, essentially, yeah. So and it all ties into an XP system as well, which is constantly.
What does that XP kind of get you?
Like alternate costumes and things of that nature. So it's nothing terribly imaginative. Yeah, and that's it. That's pretty the complexity of it. The main meat of it is certainly the story mode. There is an online component yet, which I've not had a chance to test because DC Mortal Kombat versus DC Universe was quite notorious for having fairly severe problems with its netcode, so lag and things of that nature. So I'll certainly be testing that out before the written reviews posted anywhere.
And we'll be updating that. So let's have one more fight then. We saw. So you saw the XP unlocking items. So just to clarify again, when you level up, what are you gaining from that?
You're essentially just gaining like access to special features as well. So there's a special features menu, like bonus features. So it unlocks like hero cards and like artwork and things like that. So it's all kind of what you'd expect from a fairly standard XP system. So it's that one more fight.
There's one more fight. Let's have the Joker versus someone.
Joker versus Lex Luthor. Lex Luthor.
Lex Luthor. No, let's do Joker versus. Do Hawk Girl.
Everyone's favourite. Hawk Girl. Let's fight in Arkham Asylum.
See, yeah, actually, I mean that even looks a bit like the Arkham games, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, and the Hugo Strange looks essentially identical to the
well, I guess
Arkham City design.
I guess Warner Brothers do own both games, don't they? So they can. Yeah, I mean that's
certainly quite close to the Arkham design.
Yeah.
Time to bring that hammer down. Begin.
Nothing in his pocket but lint and knives
and chattering teeth. It's obviously a bit of a homage to Poison Ivy in the background for the flowers.
Was that a shoe in his knife? Yeah, knife in his shoe.
Yeah, it's like Heath Ledger in the background.
Yeah. But it looks. I'm sort of enjoying watching it because it's just quite good fun seeing what they're going to pull out of their sleeves next.
There's also special moves in Circle. I don't have them powered up, but so like Batman, if you press Circle, fire a horde of bats at someone or things of that nature.
As you do.
Let's do your special move, Joker, when I build it up. Oh. You can see Dr. Hugo Strange in the right corner.
Oh, that is. Basically, is the Arkham City one, isn't it?
Oh, she blocked it. Stop blocking, computer.
What should that have done?
It should have done custard pie to the face, followed up by a mallet, followed up by a straight pistol shot to the face, and then a rocket launcher to the face. So it's a nice sense of escalation.
Yes.
Hate to bludgeon a man when he's down.
Let's turn that frown upside down.
And you also notice they get bloodied up as the fight goes on, so you can see all the little tears and the cautions. I'm probably going to lose this. Can the Joker stage a heroic comeback? He might.
Oh, that's nasty.
Come on, Joker. You can't lose the hot girl. Yes, you can. You lost the hot girl. The
Cool.
indignity.
The indignity, indeed. So 7 out of 10. We still got to check the online, which we're doing at the moment, but otherwise fun.
Yeah, I mean, certainly if you've got any love for DC Universe, it's definitely worth a shot. If you're a fighting purist and you've not got much love for the comics, I'd suggest it might not be worth your time. So.
Lovely, cool. Okay, guys, leave a comment. We'll speak to you later.
Cheers.